housed a radar in there, which gives an MRI picture of the storm. We send that off on real time, and that's used in models to help with that intensity and track forecast. We drew the World War II nose art for that aircraft, and that later went to Gonzo, which is our chief meteorologist and some of the best professionals on the plane. So I would say, like for myself, I flew for amazing. They say, hey, it's going to be this bad, and it's going to be this bad for this amount of time, right? And you know, I was going to leave the Navy and go work for American Airlines.
Oh, that brings me back. Okay, so I read it because I was like, okay, these are movies I don't want to watch. Hands down, the one that most people were bothered by.
Here you can see these are all the different data streams. So you can see the lower fuselage radar, that's the radar, the big black radar underneath our belly. Tail radar 1 and 2, so you can see different, so all very, very customizable, a lot of really interesting information coming on the airplane.
Cool. Okay.
On the bottom of the sensor right here, you have the ability to send back information to the airplane, such as temperature, pressure, humidity, dew point, and GPS drive wind speed. There's a parachute that comes out the top right here, and it gets launched out of this tube on the aircraft by the person we call our AVAPS operator, Airborne Vertical Atmospheric Profiling System operator. We use anywhere between 30 to 40 of these in a storm at a time. We are up at 8 to 10, sometimes up to 12,000 feet. This goes from the airplane all the way down through the different layers of the environment to the surface, where everybody wants to know what's going on at the surface. They don't care what the weather's like at 8 to 10,000 feet. This is one of those tools that will allow us to do that.
So when you fly, there's a...
So we'll go into the eye, turn around, come right back, and just zigzag in and out of the eye a bunch of times, about 15 times.
It's like, I'm not sure.
That's like this one.
Yeah, they really collect some of the most important direct measurements of data we get about hurricanes. They can fly right into the storm, tell us where the storm's located, how strong the winds are, how big the storm is, and that data is used by our forecasters at the Hurricane Center as sort of the foundation for their entire forecast process. Satellites have come a long way, and they provide a tremendous amount of data that's really of value to us at the Hurricane Center. They're sort of our day-to-day situational awareness tool. They help us identify areas that might be forming into a tropical depression or tropical storm, and we can estimate the intensity of a storm from satellite imagery from multiple different types of satellites, and the estimates are pretty good, but the uncertainty is still a lot larger than when you're able to fly an aircraft in there and directly measure it. Sometimes when we
Every storm kind of has their own personalities, right? And you never really know what the storm's going to be like until you get out there. The best analogy that we like to use is like riding an old wooden roller coaster through a car wash. It's kind of that rickety, bouncy feeling, and then when you're on a roller coaster, you kind of hit the top and your stomach kind of comes up a little bit, and then you hit the bottom, and then you kind of sink into your seat. It's a lot of that. It just happens to be for sometimes 8 hours at a time. So. But usually you're trying to get away from it in a commercial airliner. You know, we choose to go right through it, and we have to because that's where the science needs us to be. So, you know, that's part of the job. It's one of the hazards that we accept. We're a very safety-conscious organization. We've been doing this safely for a very long time, and so the way that we fly into the storm is very intentional and well thought out and well discussed, and we spend a lot of time like mitigating the hazards that are associated with flying into a hurricane. You know, we're the bus drivers, right? We're the scientific bus drivers, so we respond to the needs of the scientific community. You saw when the NOAA the forecast that just came out, they're expecting an above normal hurricane season, and that's due to a lot of factors, one of which is higher than normal sea surface temperatures. And so we have definitely seen an uptick in the amount of storms that go through what we call rapid intensification. Those like Cat 1s that go really, really quickly to a Cat 3, 4, 5, and then spin back down, and that's been something that we've definitely been experienced more recently in the recent history.
So I grew up in Pensacola, Florida, which is It's the panhandle of Florida, it's lower Alabama, but it's really in a prime location for hurricanes, so growing up. So my family lost their home to hurricanes twice growing up. One was an earlier storm, and then the other one was one I actually flew in. So, it's pretty nuts that you're flying into a storm. Like you can see, hey, they're being affected by this, right? And then you land, and then your mom's like, hey, our house got destroyed in this storm, right? Pretty incredible, right? Us collecting this data creates about 10 to 20% increase in flight track and intensity forecast, right? So that doesn't seem like a big amount, but that's really the difference of evacuating or not evacuating Houston, right? Houston has 4 million people-ish, and you think about $1,200 to $1,500 in cost per family to evacuate. I mean, this plane is saving billions of dollars every storm it flies.